So the biggest issue with the Acolyte trailer is that, and it's quite simple, and it wasn't until I watched Critical Thinkers podcast the other day. I can't remember who said it on the show, but nobody knows what the hell's going on in that show, and it's a true fact. Like I watched the trailer, kind of having an idea of what was going on, but someone who doesn't follow and keep up with all the news and media of Star Wars, they would have no clue what the heck is going on. I think that's why there's so much dislike, as opposed to the woke hate and the media attention that's all getting. I think that people just really, it didn't resonate with Star Wars fans. You look at shows like Andor, which is a big success. It was an amazing show because it had that grungy, Empire era feeling, and we could resonate it as Star Wars fans. Now, people that don't read fiction and comics and stuff like that, they're not going to relate to this because they don't really know it. It's just something new. Not once did it mention that this was 100 years before. All it says was, shadows and this and that. And I think that's the biggest miss on the mark with the Acolyte trailer. Now, I personally liked the trailer. I thought it was cool, Carrie Ann Moss, and I just was like, oh man, I was like, if this could be like The Matrix, that's what I was thinking in my head, and that's why I kind of resonated with the trailer. I want some Tenebrous Plagueis connections, like that would make it complete for me. Whether or not we're gonna get it, probably not. But again, I'm just a typical Star Wars fan. I'm just hoping that it's good. Now, that being said, like the trailer not mentioning anything about the High Republic, didn't mention anything about it didn't mention anything about 100 years before Return of the Jedi. So again, the original Star Wars fans, the OGs, and then myself, the millennials who grew up with the trilogies, we all want something that's connected to Star Wars. So now this is a High Republic show. Obviously, there's been a lot of media speculation on the sales numbers of the High Republic books and comics. I've read the comics. I've read some of the books. I really like Charles Soule's reading. So I picked up his first book of the Light of the Jedi, and honestly, it was okay. Like I didn't like it. I didn't love it. I mean, the Thrawn trilogy is a lot better. So if you look at other Old Republic novels, they're just way more story, way more lore, and it did feel like Star Wars. So in this trailer, I would have loved to have something of like Darth Maul, in this quote, like 100 years before the Phantom Menace, and then it's like at last reveal yourself to the Jedi.
You have been well trained, my young apprentice. They will be no match for you.
Because like obviously there's a red lightsaber in this, and we're all speculating as to what this is, but there's no context behind it for your average fan or your typical fan. So when speaking to my friend about it, and he says, he goes, it doesn't look like Star Wars. He had no idea about the High Republic. He didn't even know about the books existed. So that's how poor the marketing is for this. And then I think that's the key factor as to why the trailer is doing so poorly, is because it doesn't look anything like, or it can't resonate with anyone who is just a basic typical fan. So this will be a big fan for your High Republic people as well. Whether or not you say it's a woke agenda or not, it is what it is. I mean, I'm gonna watch it just because I like Star Wars, and if it's bad, then I'll bash it online. If it's good, then I'll boast it up. So it is the reality of it. Now, some of the people are saying like how is this little acolyte, this Sith person, defeating all these master Jedis and stuff like that. Like when you think about it in reality, if the Sith have been gone for millennia, then there's no struggle against the Jedi, and they're basically just living without any predators. And when you get no predators, you get complacent and weak. So I think this might be a reality check for the Jedi at this point here, depending what it is. I have no idea. Again, like I previously posted a theory video about what I think is going to happen. You can check it out if you want. I'll post a link below. But I think the biggest mark is, and it is concerning, but again, the biggest miss that I see, and I think it is concerning when you think about it logically, as to why there was no mention about the High Republic in the trailer. There's no mention about the timeline, and there was no tie-ins to our original trilogy or our prequel trilogy that the millennials grew up with. So it's really bizarre because it didn't set the stage, and someone who is not familiar with the High Republic, doesn't know about the Jedi robes, doesn't know that it's a different timeline, doesn't know that there's no Sith. So it's way bizarre, and I think that is what really missed the mark for this trailer. So let me know what you guys think.